I'm trying to swallow here, Aquarius. Sorry, I've been sick. Very, very sick. And yeah, I appreciate your patience and understanding in me taking some time off. This was not a good time this last couple weeks. This was crazy sick. You have the Hangman popping out here. Fair amount of spiritual growth, contemplation, looking at your life to see what you want to do and how you want to go about moving to the next phase. Maybe situational. You have the Four of Pentacles with the Six of Cups here. So it could be looking into things that you've done in certain ways for a very long time. It could be dealing with somebody that you've been in connection with for a very long time, somebody that you have children with, somebody that you are, it's almost as if you want to keep the relationship. That's what I feel. It's like there's an ambivalence to keep the relationship, but there's also a desire to keep the relationship. That's what it feels like. And I feel more so that a situation here is like dealing with something of a nature where it's like somebody is like stubborn. It might be you being stubborn in the way that you're dealing with this person. It might be you possibly shutting off from this person and kind of making them wait, which isn't a bad thing, especially if you need to figure out what you want to do. But, you know, it's important here to not be like so, I guess, removed from a thing or ice cold. You have the Three of Cups popping out in reverse. Might not be seeing eye to eye with this person. Might not have them, you might not trust them. But they are part of your life. They're part of your foundation. And it feels like this person is somebody that you would like to embrace, it feels. And I don't mean just a nice hug. I mean like invite into your life, accept into your life. There's many ways of embracing a thing. You have the Temperance card here. Balancing energies out. What two people bring to a situation, how you incorporate yourself within a situation with somebody. Holding off so you're not just giving and giving and giving without any type of return. It's almost like having to calm that situation down, calm that way of being down. Some people like to give of themselves and they think that it's, I don't know, the more that they give, the more importance, I guess, sometimes the person receiving will see them or they'll hold them in a higher regard. And I feel here, it's like now we're having to look at that type of behavior. Now we're having to figure out how to quell that, because sometimes when we overgive, we take a back seat. We ourselves take a back seat, and it's not that healthy to just give and give and give to somebody. Like, are they deserving of it? You know, and I think at this point here, it's like you may have gone through enough with somebody where it's like you are needing to understand how to give to yourself first and how to enter into a situation or re-enter into a situation with somebody where you are on surer footing, steadier footing, and not so, I guess, I don't want to say preyed upon, but like taken from. Really figuring out, you know, it's like not moving forward at all until you figure out how you want to go about being with this situation. How does it make you feel? You know, let's keep going. There you are. King of Swords. Five of Wands. and the Fool. With the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So, again, the situation basically figuring out if you want to incorporate yourself with somebody or not. It feels like you're probably going to give a chance to this situation, a chance to this person. You know, I think it's interesting too here, just because the Four of Wands is dead center of this reading. What I'm feeling is that, you know, I know a lot of people are like, blood is thicker than water, and, you know, like, you have to stand by the people that you love and blah, blah, blah. But I think here too, like, you really need to stand by yourself. You need to stand by how you feel. If you've if you've been in a situation with somebody for long enough to know that they have some, I guess, some conflicting ways about them that really don't match up with what you want. It doesn't really match up with the type of person that you are now, because we all grow, we all change. I feel that it's important to recognize that and not step back into that old persona or image of yourself. Recognize that you don't have to go back to old patterns to re-engage with somebody. And it's actually beneficial if you do not do that, just because it shows power on your side. I don't mean like a greedy, forceful power, but it shows a sense of personal power that you hold within a situation when you're able to step back and say, listen, I don't like the way that this goes. I don't really subscribe to that type of behavior any longer, or whatever it was, where it's like you're going back into a situation with somebody where it may have been like, I almost feel like the way that you did things with this person in the past kind of gave its hand to, I guess, maybe some toxic behavior, maybe some immature behavior that didn't necessarily, it suited you at the time, but it's no longer beneficial. It's no longer helpful. And to stabilize any type of foundation with this person, we have to address that, you know, and everybody's going to be in a different situation, but I think it's important to really look at this person for who they are, look at the situation for what it is, and see if you can progress in this, if you can maintain this connection. You know, at this point, what I'm feeling is it's like this is on the back of your mind. Here we have the Three of Pentacles. So these are pretty much sandwiched on top of each other. The Nine of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. With the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom underneath the Eight of Cups. So it's like an ambivalence to go back into something, to consider it in full totality that you want to do it. It's almost as if you could go either way. I'll pick up some clarifying cards in a minute for the Fool and for the Nine of Pentacles. But this Fool here it's the final card here. And it's like we're having to look at a lot of conflict, a lot of consideration in regard to the type of communication that we have with somebody. Do we want to go into this? You know, does this essentially cause us to be going back into something that doesn't make sense for us? Does this end up honoring our own truth? I feel that there's a very heavy sense of honoring one's truth here, honoring one's progress and how we've grown, figuring out what makes sense for us, and looking at a situation for maybe for what it is versus like having blinders on or like painting it pink, you know. And you may have a very deep love for this person, but I think it's important to really recognize, have they grown? Have you grown? How have you grown? And you have grown. That's what I feel like. You have grown. There's like significant leaps and bounds that you've grown. Everybody grows at their own pace. Not everybody's going to be on the same page as each other. But I think it's important, again, for you to stay within that mindset of self-evaluation in regard to how you have expanded in your own mind, emotions, in your heart, in your thoughts. Like, who are you now? Who are you now? And does it work in tandem with who they are now? You know, does that join up? So let's get some clarifiers here. I don't want that deck. I want this deck. Sorry. I've had like a crazy fucking sinus infection for I don't know how long, but it's still there. So sorry if I sound like a frog. Yeah. Okay. So for Aquarius, please. Let's see. Show me the Six of Cups for Aquarius. We have the Page of Cups in reverse for the Six of Cups. So the Page of Cups in reverse can talk about a lot of things, but you know, what I'm feeling here is there's a level, it feels like a level of emotional disturbance, a level of emotional dissatisfaction that seems to be kind of heavy in this energy with this person. You could be dealing with somebody that's been depressed or has a severe case of depression or some sort of like behavioral situation that the behavioral, I don't want to call it a defect, but like it feels like they're constantly in conflict. That can weigh in a lot on people. And I know relationships, blood is thicker than water. That's what I keep getting. Blood is thicker than water. I don't know why this is coming. Blood is thicker than water. But what it's feeling like here is like you may have had to deal with somebody and they've had like a lot of emotional upheaval, emotional disruption of their own, you know, and sometimes people are chemically imbalanced. That happens, but it's addressing whether or not that's something that you want to venture into. And I know that that sounds kind of unfair because sometimes people can't control that, but for some reason here it feels like the connection, that's like one of the main clinchers in the connection. It's like there's this, either they like delve deeply in depression, they don't know how to get out of that, it kind of overruns everything and it causes disharmony in the connections that they have. And it could also be you experiencing this type of behavior, and like it doesn't have to mean that you're full on like depressed, but how do you deal with your depression? How do you move past that? You know, there's a lot of ways to do that, and some people don't do that. Some people wallow in it because that's what they know, it feels good to them. And I think what we're doing here is we're having to recognize how we've grown, how we've adjusted ourselves to the new phases in our life and move forward towards that, you know, versus staying stuck in this type of energy, because it's very easy to do. It feels like this energy, what I'm feeling is like somebody's very comfortable in it and it's second nature. And being that it's second nature, you know how easily it slips into your relationship. So I think it's important to really kind of pay attention to that. Show me the Four of Pentacles for Aquarius. Four of Pentacles for Aquarius. So you have the Death card here, Aquarius, for the Four of Pentacles. I think it's important here for you to recognize, again, if this situation is something that's salvageable. Is it something that needs to be torn down and rebuilt? Is this something of a matter of trusting somebody again or giving them that final, okay, we can try it again? You know, I don't know if this person cheated on you and did all that. I mean, I think that this is just a difficult person to deal with, yet you have a lot of love for them. And I think because of that love, it's like you're kind of pulled into opposite corners in regard to how you want to go about maintaining this relationship. And I think that you want the best for this person, the best for yourself, most over than anything, the best for yourself. But like, there's still that kindness and compassionate side of yourself that is seeming to be tapped on right now. And that's something that needs to be honored, especially in regard to you. Now, is this something that is causing you to change? being in there. Remember again when I said going back into a certain way of being, acting, responding to things, even though it goes against yourself? Are you like falling back into behaviors, old behavioral patterns that aren't necessarily healthy for you, just to maintain this relationship, just to maintain this situationship? Like, what is this? Or are you basically suggesting and solidifying that for anything else to move forward here, we have to allow this type of behavior to die down? And if somebody is having a difficult time letting go of that type of energy within themselves, that may be something for a counselor, that may be something like spiritual guru, that may be something for meditation. That may not be your responsibility to be the catalyst for their change, okay? I know you guys are very kind-hearted. I know you are very philanthropic. I know you are very loving. But I feel here that there needs to be a bit of detachment that happens within this situation. And there's nothing quite like Aquarian detachment. So I think that that's important. I really do. Dear God, I feel like there's a frog in my throat. Yeah, I feel that it's important to detach a bit and really make sure that you state what you require from this. And I don't think that it's in regard to that, it's what you say. Like, it's about you, the choice is within your hands. It's your kind of, this is going to sound weird, kind of your way or the highway, Aquarius. It's important to take back that responsibility, take back that power, take back how much you give of yourself to a situation, and really make sense of where you are within it. If you feel at all that you're slipping back into something that was not healthy for you, please don't. Or behaviors or thought patterns. And you may not be dealing with a person at all. You may be dealing with depression. You may be dealing with things that have traveled with you from very early ages that you're having to deal with looking within deeply, It may have to deal with toxic families and, maybe not being heard as a child or sexual abuse as a child. Certain things can plague us throughout our lives, and it's very difficult to change. But it's crucial that we do. It's crucial that we look in on it. It's crucial that we accept the pain that we experience with it, not try and stuff it away or hide it, and really transform that. This is all about transformation. Here, we have a card about death, rebirth, transformation, and we also have a card of not letting anything go, not moving anything forward or anywhere. It's just stagnant. We need to be careful of that. How do we heal this energy? And it starts with really looking at the situation for what it is in all aspects, but within a very deep sense of clarity, a lot of truth, a lot of honesty. And I feel that it's important for you to be very blunt with this person, very blunt with yourself if you're not dealing with anybody. But it feels like this is moving towards... I don't want to say where it's moving towards. It feels like it's moving towards a yes. Okay, show me the Four of Wands. Show me the Four of Wands. Okay, so for the Four of Wands, you have 4 cards popping out. All right, so you have the Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and you have the King of Swords, okay? So in regard to the situation, it's almost as if you're having to really look at this and it's like what I'm feeling, honestly, is like really hard pressed to be real with myself or this person or this situation and be like, it doesn't feel like it's a win, but you're almost like drawn to go back into it. You could be dealing with another air sign as well. But it doesn't feel like it's easy. It's an easy decision to go back into this, but it almost feels like you are pulled into it. But again, we must be very clear about things. We must be very concise, especially within what grounds us, what makes us feel right. Are you inviting this person back into your family? Is this a family member? that you've been having a difficult time experiencing. You know, don't give of yourself if you think that it's going to leave you empty. Okay, Aquarius? Like, please don't do that. No. You know, and I keep feeling like this pressurized pressure of like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something. You're doing something. But it's almost as if like you're giving to a situation. See, and this is the back and forth. It's like you're giving to a situation that you feel actually doesn't really bring you much, but then it's like you're hard pressed to not give to it. What is that? It's like this back and forth yin yang ambivalence. You have the Nine of Pentacles here, and then you have it here in reverse. Again, yin yang, back forth, not sure, you know, do I go alone? Do I stay on my own? Do I cultivate my life in gratitude and thankfulness and happiness on my own and really build things towards what I want? Or do I go back to this? Do I go back to it because I'm feeling lonely? Do I go back to it because I'm feeling unstable within myself? But it feels also here like going back to it, it doesn't really provide much unless you're hoping that it'll eventually provide, but it's slow, you know, and it almost feels like that type of thought and mentality and going back into something like this is, it's almost bordering on like a little bit of the juvenile aspect. Like, you know, is that truly what you want? Or is this like, again, falling back into that type of pattern of behavior, that thought pattern? So show me the King of Swords for Aquarius. Show me the King of Swords for Aquarius. You know, the Six of Pentacles here, Aquarius. You know, this is clear communication about equal give and take. It's clear communication about balance and what balances you out in a situation. It's also being very clear about communicating with somebody what balances them out. Are you imbalanced? Are you, you know, emotionally imbalanced people? They don't have to be the worst people in the world. Most of us are emotionally imbalanced, but it's difficult to deal with sometimes. And if you have an understanding of yourself being that way, or if the person that you're dealing with is that way, I would say it's very crucial here for you to speak the truth and really recognize